that just broke a guy's heart. Like the nicest guy I've ever met. Like, he would have done anything for me.
Once men go through that, they learn to live on their own.
I don't want to do this if I don't have you, please. Please. Record me, I don't care. Record me, I don't care.
This lady was no longer with this man, but she regretted that missed relationship and wanted to go back together as soon as possible.
Post it. Post it. Post it.
I'm not even recording you.
Post it. Post it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want you.
Hey, stop. What are you doing, bro?
This shows us two things. Firstly, that man was a gem. And secondly, she needs help, to be honest.
I need you! Take me back! Please! I'm going crazy! Please! Please!
Sometimes we shouldn't take our loved ones for granted because some relationships never go back to how they used to be.
It's crazy! Oh, I'm just really realizing that my marriage is over and it's really bad! Oh, I'm really sad.
The freedom and peace of mind are priceless. Hard times create strong men.
So there's a few things that I don't do as a married woman. Number one, I do not cook for my husband. I only cook for my children. My husband will be making his own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number two, I do not help him pay any bills. So if he is short on the rent, on utilities, or anything like that, it is not my problem. I will not be helping him out.
This is sad, to be honest.
His job is to provide for his family, so I am not financially contributing to any of the bills. Number three, I do not do his laundry. I have my own laundry and my children's laundry to do, so he could do his own. I won't help him.
Here is a fun fact for you, brothers. Even roommates help each other with the house chores.
Put it away, I won't help him fold anything. That's his responsibility. Number four, he is responsible for replacing any of his essentials like soap, shampoo, anything like that. He needs to go buy it himself. Even if I'm at the store, I will not be replacing it for him.
Now her husband saw the video, and he didn't like it, to say the least, and this was the aftermath.
I've been crying all morning long. My husband told me that I needed to pack my stuff and get the house. So I have my bag. And I'm about to start packing. I literally have nowhere to go. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
This is why we should think before we say anything.
Everybody in the comments was right. He does deserve somebody better. And I hope and pray that he finds someone better.
That's correct. Every hardworking man deserves a kind partner who will take care of him and his children.
We're taught that when a divorce happens, you failed. And oh, I failed. Oh, that was the hardest thing to face. Also because I couldn't speak to people about it. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. I couldn't speak to people about it because
when it happens to men, a way to cope is to focus on their career and spend time with their fellow brothers.
I didn't have the safety net of the home base to lean on. His family became my family. But when the divorce happened, I knew that eventually that was going to fade. And I think that, not to take away from who he was in my life, but that was so painful. I was losing the family members that I grew so close to that validated my feelings.
It must be the hardest for the children, unfortunately.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone.
This lady noticed the loneliness as soon as it happened.
I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him.
It seems that he has moved on by now.
I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying?
Exactly. That is what everyone is wondering.
Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying.
Relationships need constant work, or else they'd fail.
I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce.
This is when they know they made a mistake, when they can't find anyone like that man.
I still am very much in love with my husband.
Unfortunately, that changes nothing. We are not alone. Men live peacefully.
Noon on Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, and I have nothing to do. I have nowhere to go. And this isn't, I'm not looking for pity. This is the reality.
She doesn't find enjoyment in her activities anymore.
For some people sometimes. I know some of you will come into the comments and be like, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do that? Why don't you call this person? Why do you call that person? I know how to do all those things, but sometimes you do all those things and this is what's left.
No matter what she does, at the end of the day, the person reflects and remembers it.
And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was full. We were full of conversation and laughter and friendship and all these wonderful things.
Thinking the grass is greener on the other side mostly ruins relationships.
But for various reasons, we're just at different life stages and doesn't necessarily have long-term compatibility. So I know it was the right decision for us to end it, but I'm also sad because it was really fun and I don't want that to stop. But it's also annoying that didn't work out and I have to go back to dating.
With time and age, dating gets only harder.
For so long, it's just been a void of nothingness. Like, if I ever felt too good about myself, it was just like, let's knock her down a peg. She shouldn't get too big of a head, right? And future ex-husband does not have a protective order in place. He was arrested on Sunday.
So basically, this lady divorced her husband and made allegations that weren't true, and the husband unfortunately got arrested.
But he was arraigned yesterday, which means the protective order that happened for him to get released from jail expired yesterday at midnight. I was supposed to be notified when he was arraigned. I was not. And my protective order, like my long-term protective order, is still in the paperwork phase. I've been in the paperwork phase.
Fortunately, due to the lack of evidence and little to no proof, the guy got justice.
Since Monday, and I'm kind of freaking out. The morning yesterday down at the courthouse and talking to legal aid, and I felt like an idiot with legal aid. Like, clearly this woman has dealt with more significant cases, and so I'm telling her what's happened, and she's like, is that it? Is that it?
Thank God the legal aid took the right side.
And I felt like I'm safe. I'm not well. I've had a really crappy night.
The guy got his justice and got out. I hope he is in a better place and that he works on himself and wisely chooses his next partner.
Still had, like, you know, the normal ups and downs, but I will say we didn't have a relationship where we argued all the time. Yeah. We didn't have a relationship where we were dealing with infidelity or stuff like that, you know, during those times. We didn't have that type of relationship. So, because we were friends first. Yeah. Something in me as a woman, I cannot explain it.
So this next lady had everything perfect. She was happy, had no arguments, a good time, and a healthy relationship. Yet, she decided to end it because, according to her, there was nothing more.
Then I'm battling with it with myself. Like, why am I feeling this way? Yeah. I'm talking about I'm going to therapy for myself to figure out why am I feeling this way. And I'm sitting on the couch, y'all, and I kid you not, God told me that is not your husband.
This is just my opinion. But if I'm dealing with a problem, I won't let it affect my life or work. Have to work hard at marriage, then it's pretty perfect. Prenup, gentlemen.
So today is 2 months exactly since I got my divorce finalized. You know, drinking tea outside, journaling, focusing on myself, and reflecting on my divorce, and I felt like everything was going pretty well.
But in reality, it wasn't.
And then, not even a few days ago, I just felt this dread, this extreme amount of dread that had just taken over me. And I was like, okay, I felt all of it during the first month and I coped with it.
It is going to come back again and again.
So, no. I guess it came back around, and I understand what I'm feeling right now. It's just, it's too shocking for me. Like, To finally kind of just realize that all of this has happened and I'm in a place where I can sit and think about it and I'm finally taking it in without having to stress about outside factors is a lot.
At the end of the day, when the reality hits and they think of how it could have been otherwise, they regret missing out.
And now I'm going back to I miss everything. I miss what I had and I know I can move on my own and do for myself, but right now it's just I really, really, really am missing what I had. Maybe it's the holidays, maybe it's the loneliness, but right now I'm feeling some type of grief.
Even if a man sees couples outside or romantic movies or scenes, even if he's single, it doesn't affect him because he made peace with himself.
Completely honest, yes, I've been called crazy several times in relationships. So if my boundaries and assertiveness makes me crazy, then yeah, I'm crazy.
I say this with hindsight. I tried the whole let's fix it. We both tried it. It did not work. So it ended up going through that trauma again where we split up in the end anyway.
The fixing it process isn't something that takes a day or a week. It's a never-ending battle.
So our kids had to do it not once but twice. That was a dick move. They know we're miserable. And really, in the end, they don't care. They just want two loving parents.
You can't blame them. Kids want one thing: to see a happy family.
That is my own fault. That my life is the way it is. Let me assure you that I've spent the last 20 years of my life working really hard to get to a place that I could be independent and support my kids. Okay? I'll start with that. I put myself through school 3 separate times. Okay? I put myself in enormous student debt to be able to provide and have a good career. I made $1,500 this month at work. I can't pay my rent.
This is life, and we face our choices. When we decide to have kids, we need to step up and be responsible.
I can't buy groceries. I've been using the food bank like a f***er. I can't do anything. How is this okay? It's not.
At 31, I looked at my husband and I was like, peace out, dude. I'm gonna go do me now. But it didn't take me long after leaving my marriage to just find the next guy. The thing was,
this is absolutely crazy.
the next guy was a lot younger and I knew that it wasn't going to last forever. He looked at me the same way. It was a casual thing. I went through at least a 6 to 8 month span where I was very angry at men.
She left her husband of 13 years of marriage, and you'll see what happened next.
Very angry. Because in my world, in my life, they've basically been a constant letdown. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And during that very, very angry phase that I had, I still, in my head, was thinking, I still need to find a partner. And that, the search hadn't ended. I didn't know who I was.
We cannot treat people badly and expect them to treat us well.
I had been a stay-at-home mom for years, and everything had just been focus on the kids and everything. And one day I was like, I don't even know what I like. I don't know what I like to do. When it hit me, my messages are not going through.
So after leaving her husband for another guy, the new guy, one day out of nowhere, decided to not talk to her anymore.
I sent a text last night saying goodnight, and I normally get something back, and I didn't. And tried to send a message this morning, it's not going through.
The energy we put out there is the same that comes back to us. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.